All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Tanvi Khurana. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Odisha and West Bengal today to take stock of the impact of Cyclonias. Prime Minister says National Digital Health Mission will unleash digital health tech revolution with innovations and various services for citizens, calls for steps to be expedited to expand operations. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to chair 43rd GST Council meeting through video conferencing in New Delhi today. Health Ministry says national COVID recovery rate improves to 90% and the country is witnessing steady decline in number of daily new cases. India becomes second country after United States to administer over 20 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine. Government asks states and the union territories to continue compliance to the containment measures and allow relaxations only in a graded manner. French President Emmanuel Macron asks Rwandans to forgive France for its role in the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Bashar al-Assad to continue as the president of Syria after winning the election for the fourth time. The UN Human Rights Council votes to investigate violence in the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas. And in sports, India's Mary Kom storms into the finals of the Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, take all precautions, and all those above 45 years who have taken the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine to get vaccinated with the second dose at the scheduled time. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The Prime Minister will visit Odisha and West Bengal today to take stock of the impact of Cyclonias. Massive relief and rescue operations are underway in the devastated states of Odisha and West Bengal. Prime Minister will also survey the affected areas of Balasore, Bhadrak and Purbo Mednipur, apart from holding a review meeting in Bhubaneswar. More from a Kolkata correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting West Bengal and Odisha today to inspect the damage caused by Cyclonias. He will hold a meeting with Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee at Kalaikunda Airport in West Mednipur district before returning to Delhi. The Chief Minister said that the Prime Minister had called her for a meeting on Friday to discuss the damage caused by cyclone in the state. She will be present there. According to a preliminary review by the state government, damage of at least Rs 15,000 crore is expected to have happened in the disaster caused by the cyclone. The central government has already announced more than Rs 400 crore in advance compensation. Besides, on behalf of the state government, the Chief Minister said that another Rs 1,000 crore allocated for relief and compensation. Priyanka for All India Radio, Kolkata.
Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik conducted an aerial survey of the cyclone-affected areas in the state yesterday. While restoration work in all cyclone-affected districts is in progress, there are reports of a couple of rivers in North Odisha districts swelling due to excess water intake. Meanwhile, Bihar is witnessing heavy rains across the state during the last 24 hours. A maximum of 114 mm rain was recorded at Gaya, followed by 92 mm in Purnia and 86 mm in Patna. Rail and road traffic were disrupted at several places due to uprooting of trees. Air traffic was also disrupted due to inclement weather. The railways has cancelled 15 trains. Electric supply was also disrupted in rural areas of the state. Met Department said the cyclone Yas has converted into a low-pressure area and it will enter eastern Uttar Pradesh today through Kaimur and Rohtas districts of Bihar with a wind speed of 30 to 40 kilometers. Met Department has also alerted people of the state to stay away from open spaces and trees. Widespread rainfall and thunderstorm are likely to occur in the state by Saturday.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asked central and state agencies to ensure that normal life is restored at the earliest in the cyclone Yas affected areas and relief is appropriately dispersed to the affected people. Chairing a meeting to review the impact of Cyclone Yas, the Prime Minister noted the effective and proactive role played by the agencies in responding to the challenges thrown by the cyclone. During the meeting, officials made a detailed presentation on various aspects of preparedness, assessment of damages and related matters. The Army and Coast Guard also rescued marooned persons while the Navy and Air Force were on alert. In the meeting, it was said that though the states are engaged in the assessment of damages caused in the aftermath of the cyclone, from the preliminary reports available, it is seen that due to accurate forecasting, effectively communicating to the people, and evacuation in a timely manner have ensured minimal loss to the human life. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has directed that steps should be expedited to expand operations under the National Digital Health Mission (NDHM). He said that the NDHM will bring ease of living for citizens to avail a large number of health services. Chairing a high-level meeting to review the progress of NDHM, the Prime Minister said it will unleash a digital health tech revolution with innovations and various services for the citizens. Last year, during his Independence Day address, the Prime Minister had announced the launch of NDHM. So far, nearly 11.9 lakh health IDs have been generated and 3,106 doctors and 1,490 facilities have registered on the platform.
Union Health Ministry has said that the country is witnessing a steady decline in the number of daily new reported cases of COVID-19 from past 20 days after reaching a peak on the 7th of May. Addressing the media yesterday, Joint Secretary in the Health Ministry, Love Agarwal, said that on 7th of May, over 4,14,000 cases were reported, which has now come down to about 2,11,000.
डेटा एनालाइज करें तो पाते हैं कि देश की डेली पॉजिटिविटी पिछले 24 घंटे में 10% से भी कम यानी कि 9.79% नोट की गई है और पिछले 3 दिनों से देश में ओवरऑल पॉजिटिविटी 10% से कम पाई जा रही है। इसी के साथ ही वैक्सीनेशन पर हमारे कंटिन्यूड एफर्ट्स हैं। हमारे जो मेन पिलर्स हैं ट्रीटमेंट से रिलेटेड, जिसमें हम कहते हैं टेस्ट, ट्रैक, ट्रीट, कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर एंड फोकस ऑन वैक्सीनेशन, उसके तहत देश में गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया द्वारा जो फ्री सप्लाईज हैं, उनके तहत अब तक हम 14.85 करोड़ लोग जो कि 45 वर्ष से अधिक आयु के उनको कवर कर चुके हैं।
Mr. Agarwal informed that the recovery rate is improved to 90% from the level of 81.8% on the 3rd of May.
इसी के साथ अगर आप देखें कि रिकवरी रेट में कैसे बढ़ोतरी हो रही है, तो जहां एक स्थाई पर देश में रिकवरी 81.8% 3 मई को नोट की गई थी, वह बढ़ते बढ़ते 18 मई को 85.6% और हम देश में देखते हैं तो पाते हैं कि हमारी रिकवरी परसेंटेज अब बढ़कर 90% हो गई है। यह एक बहुत ही पॉजिटिव इंडिकेशन है। जरूरत है कि हम इसी स्थाई से अपने होम आइसोलेशन केसेस और वह केसेस जो हॉस्पिटल में उनको मॉनिटर करते रहें।
Over 20.54 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered so far in the country. On day 132 of the vaccination drive yesterday, more than 26.58 lakh vaccine doses have been administered till 7 p.m. Over 11.76 lakh beneficiaries of the age group 18 to 44 years received the first dose of the COVID vaccine yesterday, while cumulatively 1.51 crore beneficiaries of this age group across 37 states and UTs since the start of phase 3 of the vaccination drive. Bihar, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh have administered more than 10 lakh beneficiaries of the age group of 18 to 44 years for the first dose of COVID vaccine.
Vaccination is one of the game changers in the fight against the COVID pandemic. The liberalized and accelerated phase 3 of the COVID-19 vaccination drive has already begun in the country. Despite the government's best efforts to vaccinate all the beneficiaries in the shortest time, several misinformations and myths are being spread about the ongoing vaccination drive. Amid the alleged shortage of COVID vaccine in the country, a claim has been made that centre has not approved certain vaccines available globally. The central government has termed this claim as false and maliciously distorted. More on this from our correspondent.
The central government has proactively eased entry of vaccines approved by concerned agencies of US, UK and Japan and World Health Organization's emergency use listing into India in April. These vaccines will not need to undergo prior bridging trials. The provision has now been further amended to waive off the trial requirement altogether for the well-established vaccines manufactured in other countries. No application of any foreign manufacturer for approval is pending with the drugs controller. The central government has remained engaged continuously with all the major international vaccine manufacturers right from mid-2020. Multiple rounds of discussions have happened with Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson and Moderna. Government has also offered all assistance to have them supply or manufacture their vaccines in India. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Centre has asked all the states and the union territories to continue compliance to the containment measures and allow relaxations only in a graded manner after assessing the local situation. In a letter written to the Chief Secretaries of all the states and UTs, Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla has informed that the containment measures as advised by the Union Health Ministry has been extended till 30th of next month. Mr. Bhalla said that the strict implementation of containment and other measures has led to a declining trend in the number of new and active cases across states and UTs, barring some areas in the southern and northeastern regions. He highlighted that in spite of the declining trend, the number of active cases presently is still very high. Stressing on the importance of containment measures, Mr. Bhalla advised the states to continue with its strict implementation. He added any relaxation by the states and UTs should be considered at an appropriate time in a graded manner after assessing the local situation, requirements and resources.
Teachers are known for their dedication and sacrifice, and no pandemic can deter their indomitable will. A teacher from Madhya Pradesh, Chandrahas Srivastav, has proved it by setting a unique example of teaching without break even during COVID times. Here is a report.
The unique example of dedication was seen in Bundelkhand region of Madhya Pradesh. Primary government school teacher Mr. Chandrahas Srivastav of Sagar district in village Richora continues to teach the children from house to house even during the corona period. During this time, he also distributed free masks to the villagers to protect them from corona.
कोरोना काल में बच्चों की पढ़ाई प्रभावित हो रही थी, तो मैंने गरीब बच्चों के लिए कुछ नया करने का सोचा, तो हमने स्वयं की स्कूटी पे एक चलता फिरता विद्यालय का स्वरूप देकर बच्चों की पढ़ाई प्रारंभ कर दी। बच्चों की पढ़ाई प्रारंभ होगी, इनका लाश नहीं हो रहा है और सभी बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं और लाभ ले रहे हैं।
Chandrahas has also designed a vehicle for educational activities called as Chalta Firta Vidyalay. Due to his efforts, the education of the children did not stop even in this crisis. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
National capital Delhi continues to record dip in the number of new COVID cases. Yesterday, 1,072 fresh cases of COVID-19 were reported. 3,725 people have recovered from the infection, while 117 people lost their lives.
Gujarat is also witnessing a dip in fresh COVID cases. A total of 2,869 cases were reported in the state in the last 24 hours. Our correspondent reports that over 9,000 people recovered from the infection yesterday. With this, the recovery rate has been improved to 92.66%.
The highest number of 375 new cases were recorded in Vadodara city alone, followed by Ahmedabad with 333 cases and Surat with 208 cases. At present, there are around 49,000 active cases of COVID-19 in the state, of which 583 are on ventilator. 33 patients succumbed to the infection in the last 24 hours. With this, the death toll in the state has reached to 9,734. As many as 226,000 persons were vaccinated against COVID-19 in the state yesterday. Aparna Khund, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Gujarat, the production of drug substance for Covaxin will begin soon. Gujarat Biotechnology Research Centre GBRC, an autonomous society established under the Department of Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat, along with Hester Bioscience Limited and Omni BRX Technologies, yesterday entered into MOU with Bharat Biotech Limited for manufacturing of drug substance for the production of Covaxin.
Maharashtra reported 21,273 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, taking the total number of cases to more than 56,72,000. The state recorded 34,370 recoveries in the last 24 hours and 425 deaths. The total number of recoveries are more than 52,76,000, while the state's case fatality rate is 1.63%. Women's self-help group in Maharashtra have not stopped their work even during lockdown or strict restrictions imposed in the state. Through the sale of masks, sanitizer and other items, they have crossed a record turnover of 60 crore. A report from a Mumbai correspondent.
Self-help group members of Maharashtra are using lockdown as an opportunity to increase their business. Around 2,000 women from 730 self-help groups have produced around 9 lakh masks and earned more than 1 crore rupee. During first wave of corona, they have sold more than 1 crore masks and earned 13 crore 30 lakh rupees. 40 SHGs are also producing sanitizers. Around 2,000 SHGs in 34 districts of Maharashtra have sold vegetables of around 20 crore rupees. Through the sale of fruits, these SHGs have earned approximately 7 crore rupees. Sale of various grains have provided them around 15 crore rupees. Some of the SHGs are providing food to COVID care centers. Some are selling pesticides, fertilizers and seeds. Maharashtra's Rural Development Minister Hassan Nusheib said that some of these items are also available on e-commerce platforms. It is helping them to reach more and more customers. Jeevan Bhavsar, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Chhattisgarh, nearly half of the villages in the state are now free from COVID-19. The test positivity rate in the state has also come down to below 5%. More from our Raipur correspondent.
In Chhattisgarh, there are about 20,000 villages, according to the state government. Because of the various measures taken to control COVID-19, about 10,000 of these villages have now been completely free from corona infection. The health infrastructure has been strengthened in district hospitals as well as primary and community health centers. Besides, medicine kits are being provided free of cost to suspected patients in rural areas. So far, this kit has been provided to more than 18 lakh suspected patients. The number of daily COVID tests conducted in the state has also been increased. On an average, more than 70,000 samples are being tested every day. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Odisha and West Bengal today to take stock of the impact of Cyclonias. Prime Minister says National Digital Health Mission will unleash digital health tech revolution with innovations and various services for citizens. Calls for steps to be expedited to expand the operations. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to chair 43rd GST Council meeting through video conferencing in New Delhi today. Health Ministry says national COVID recovery rate improves to 90% and country is witnessing steady decline in number of daily new cases. India becomes second country after United States to administer over 20 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine. Government asks states and union territories to continue compliance to the containment measures and allow relaxations only in a graded manner. French President Emmanuel Macron asked Rwandans to forgive France for its role in the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Bashar al-Assad to continue as the president of Syria after winning the election for the fourth time. The UN Human Rights Council votes to investigate violence in the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas. And in sports, India's Mary Kom storms into finals of the Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will chair the 43rd GST Council meeting through video conferencing in New Delhi today. Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur will also attend the meeting. Finance ministers of all the states and union territories and senior officers from union government and the states will also participate in the meeting. The government has said that the procurement of wheat in the ongoing Rabi marketing season 2021-22 is continuing smoothly in the procuring states and UTs. These states are Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution in a statement said that a quantity of over 398.59 lakh metric tons of wheat has been procured so far.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has held a meeting with U.S. National Security Advisory Jake Sullivan. They held wide-ranging discussions including on Indo-Pacific and Afghanistan. Dr. Jaishankar conveyed appreciation for U.S. solidarity in addressing the COVID challenge. He said India-U.S. vaccine partnership can make a real difference. The minister, who is on a 5-day visit to U.S., also met U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said the two countries' trade, technology and business cooperation are at the core of strategic partnership, and enhancing them is vital to post-COVID economic recovery. He also welcomed her stance on IPR issues and support for efficient supply chains. The minister also met Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines. In a tweet, he said he looks forward to working closely together to address contemporary security challenges and advance India-US strategic partnership. Bashar al-Assad will continue to serve as the president of Syria after winning the election for the fourth time. Assad, 55 years old, has been the president since 2000. He succeeded his late father Hafiz, who had ruled Syria for more than a quarter of a century before that. Syria's opposition called the vote a farce, while the US and European countries said it was not free or fair election. Syria has been devastated by a decade-long conflict, and the fighting has left at least 388,000 people dead and caused half the population to flee their homes, including almost 6 million refugees abroad. The election was held in government-controlled areas of the country and in some Syrian embassies overseas.
The UN Human Rights Council has voted to investigate violence in the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas. The body approved the resolution brought by a group of Islamic countries by 24 votes to 9. The United States has said the decision threatened to endanger progress and bringing calm to the region. At least 242 people were killed in Gaza and 13 were killed in Israel during 11 days of fierce fighting that ended with an Egyptian brokered truce. The text of the resolution brought by the Organization of Islamic Conference (OIC) and the Palestinian delegation calls for a permanent commission of inquiry to be set up to report on rights violations in Israel and the West Bank and Gaza. 9 members, including several Western countries, voted against the resolution and another 14 abstained. China and Russia were among those voting in favor. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu denounced the move as yet another example of the UN Human Rights Council's blatant anti-Israel obsession. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry said it reflected the determination of the international community to move forward in the path of accountability and protection of Palestinians' human rights. French President Emmanuel Macron has asked Rwandans to forgive France for its role in the 1994 Rwandan genocide, in which about 800,000 ethnic Tutsis and moderate Hutus died. Speaking at the genocide memorial in Rwanda's capital Kigali, where more than 250,000 victims are buried, Macron said France had not heeded warnings of impending carnage and had for too long valued silence of examination of the truth. President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, said his words were something more valuable than an apology. In March, a French expert commission found that France, under the late President François Mitterrand, had borne heavy and overwhelming responsibility for the genocide but had not been complicit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has paid tributes to freedom fighter and patriot Vinayak Damodar Savarkar on his birth anniversary today. Films Division has organized The Eclipse and After, a festival of films on women by women. Films will be screened online from today till 30th of May 2021. It is a package of 10 films made by women filmmakers to tell stories of women coming out from the shadows of inequality and injustice, and also inspiring stories of strong-willed women who dared to break conventions to lead a life of self-worth and accomplishment. These films will be streamed free on Films Division website, filmsdivision.org, Documentary of the Week section, and on its YouTube channel between 28th to 30th of May 2021. Six-time world champion MC Mary Kom stormed into the final of the women's 51-kilogram category of Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. She registered a 4-1 win against Mongolia's Latsai-Khan Altansetseg to face Kazakhstan's Nizam Kaizai in the final. Two-time world youth champion Sakshi also entered the final as she defeated top seed Dina Zolomon of Kazakhstan 3-2 in the semi-finals and set up title clash with Sitora Shokdarova of Uzbekistan. Earlier in the opening match of the day, Monica settled for a bronze as she lost her 48-kilogram semi-final match to Alua Balkibakova of Kazakhstan. Jasmine too lost going down 0-5 to Kazakhstan Vladislava Hukta in a 57-kilogram semi-final match. In other sports news, in the European Shooting Championship in Croatia, former world champion Tejaswini Sawant topped the minimum qualification score section of the 50-meter rifle prone event. The 40-year-old Tejaswini shot 622.7 to finish ahead of 3 other compatriots and 6 Iranians. She will represent India in the 50-meter rifle 3 positions event at the Olympic Games, her maiden Olympics in July-August. Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar shot 620.3 to finish second in the field of 9 shooters, while Sanjeev Rajput scored 619.7. Anjum Mudgil, the 4th shooter in the field, shot 619.2. Both Rajput and Tomar have qualified for the 50-meter 3 positions event for men of the Olympic Games. In table tennis, Indian paddler Prayesh Raj Suresh made his way into the quarterfinals of the WTT Youth Star contender Tunis with a thrilling 3-2 win against Sweden's David Yorkhead. Prayesh will take on Russians Ilya Konyakov in the quarterfinals. In the Belgrade Open tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic eased into the semi-finals with a 6-1, 6-0 win over Argentine Federico Coria. Djokovic will now face Slovakian Andre Martin, who beat Serbian Dusan Lajovic in 3 sets. The Indian men's football team retained its 105th position on the FIFA World Rankings released today.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for the day. The national capital Delhi will see partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature is 23 degrees and the maximum will go up to 40 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. Chennai will see partly cloudy sky. The temperature will vary between 29 and 40 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 40 degrees. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 12 and 29 degrees Celsius. Leh will have partly cloudy sky. The minimum and maximum temperature will be between 4 and 20 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will see partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 17 and 33 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 37 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The Twitter toolkit row escalating is one of the stories that dominates headlines this morning. Twitter alleges threat to free speech. It's defying Indian laws, counters government, leads the Times of India. Government mulls, mix and match COVID jabs on trial basis, reports the Pioneer. To spur imports, India waives local trains for foreign vaccines, states the Tribune. India pushes to get Choksi repatriated from the Caribbean, informs Hindustan Times. Raw IB heads get 1-year extension, reports the Statesman. The Asian Age quoting Rahul Gandhi telling PM writes, save Lakshadweep, its future under threat. The Hindu quotes a top US official, Kurt Campbell, as saying US-China engagement era has come to an end. And finally, RBI wants centre to accelerate spending, says economic cost of second wave may be limited to Q1, reports the Business Standard.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Odisha and West Bengal today to take stock of the impact of Cyclonias. Prime Minister says National Digital Health Mission will unleash digital health tech revolution with innovations and various services for citizens. Calls for steps to be expedited to expand operations. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to chair 43rd GST Council meeting through video conferencing in New Delhi today. Health Ministry says national COVID recovery rate improves to 90% and the country is witnessing steady decline in number of daily new cases. India becomes second country after United States to administer over 20 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine. Government asks states and union territories to continue compliance to the containment measures and allow relaxations only in a graded manner. French President Emmanuel Macron asks Rwandans to forgive France for its role in the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Bashar al-Assad to continue as the president of Syria after winning the election for the fourth time, and the UN Human Rights Council votes to investigate violence in the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.